Hey guys, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com, and today's video I want to talk about how to run a half marathon in under 2 hours. And a lot of these videos I'm just talking just from my own experience, just to provide some kind of input to my viewers and subscribers and readers of the blog itself. A lot of times I don't go by the script; I just kind of speak how I feel. But in regards to these videos. The main goal for what I do with these is just to try to shed some kind of uh, input to you as an athlete, of some of the best strategies, the best tips that I can provide to you to get under these time standards. I mean, when it comes to running a half marathon under 2 hours, you're talking about 9:09 per mile pace for 13.1 miles. And it really doesn't matter whether you're trying to break a 2:30 marathon or you're trying to break a 2 hour half marathon, especially when it comes to specific time goals. That most athletes, we all have these goals that we have in regards to a specific time we want to run. Um, you know, we're all different. So a lot of athletes obviously have weight loss goals that they want to go out and they want to put in the miles to try to lose weight, and then they want to go out and compete in a half marathon to kind of add to that training regimen. So we all have different goals, but when it comes to um, most races, we all want to run a specific time. And in your case, you're trying to get under 2 hours for the half marathon. You're, the name of the game when it comes to running long periods of time is sustained pace, and to be able to hold that pace and not slow down. Obviously, there's a lot of physiological adaptations that got to occur, um, in training first, so you can get to the race and you can get to when the gun goes off. You can make those pace changes and react to the moves that your competition's uh, throwing at you in the race. So the half marathon, that's my favorite event. My personal best for the distance is 1 hour and 7 minutes and 6 seconds. I did that at the a long time ago, 2007 Philadelphia half marathon. Um, I've always loved that distance. I wish that it was an Olympic distance to kind of see that, but um, so I understand how difficult it is. To break a 2 hour half marathon, that's highly competitive, and wherever you're currently at, you have to drill down on that 9:09 per mile pace. What do I need to do? You just need to ask yourself, how am I setting up my training? Am I setting up my training to make that pace, that 9 minutes and 9 seconds per mile pace, feel sustainable, where I can hold it for 13.1 miles? You know, we all make mistakes in races, but you can make those slight changes in your training to be able to sustain pace for 13.1 miles and do it successfully. I had a lot of ups and downs with the event too. I remember my first half marathon. I was in college. I think it was the 1998 or 1997 Cleveland half marathon. I remember I ran an hour and 14 minutes and 10 seconds, and I needed to run 1 hour and 15 minutes to qualify for the NAIA National Marathon Championships when I was in college. I ended up never ran the marathon when I was in college, but that was my first half. So um, I can tell you from my own background with the distance, you have to train far below goal half marathon race pace. That means training, getting on the track, and really training at your anaerobic threshold, specifically at your aerobic capacity. Your aerobic capacity is basically your maximum. It's the maximum, just about your max heart rate. Just about, it's between 175 beats and up. So you're talking very high anaerobic type uh, workouts. Repeat 200s, those repeat 400s, repeat Ks. Where your heart rate's ramped real high, and you can only run at your aerobic capacity for anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes. So um, the key with running those types of workouts, as well as anaerobic threshold training. Anaerobic threshold training is basically, if you're wearing a heart rate monitor, it's right at the point where you start building up lactic acid in your bloodstream. A big reason why athletes are not able to sustain pace for, maybe they're aiming for a 2 hour half marathon, but they go out and they're on sub 2 minute, 2 hour half marathon pace for 7 miles, and then like the last 6 miles of the race, they start falling off. And a lot of athletes, because they feel like they're they've been working hard and they've been doing everything right, and then it just doesn't come through on the race, will start to second guess themselves and start to doubt their capabilities. When um, there's a lot of things I have to stress this. There's a lot of different components into preparing for a half marathon effectively. Um, you have to get proper rest. You have to hydrate well in training and in the race. You can't just sip in the race and just grab a Dixie cup or a small, grab, some athletes will run the entire distance without drinking anything. Um, and that's a huge, huge mistake. You have to hydrate well. You have to take in those additional calories when you're racing because your body needs that. So if you can make those slight adjustments in your training, um, on your long runs on the weekends, put a couple water bottles out, maybe every 3 miles of your long run, and put a gel in your shorts. Put a gel, at the second water bottle, maybe at the 6 mile mark of your long run. So when you're on your way back, the bottles are on this roughly about the same area. So you have those fluids there, and you can practice ingesting those calories. I know it's not always comfortable trying to do that in training, especially in the race, but a big mistake that a lot of half marathoners, and endurance athletes are making is they're not taking in enough calories and not drinking enough. So that's a big mistake that I made earlier on in my career, and but I can tell you that's key. How are you slowing down on your recovery days? Are you taking it easy? Are you really hammering those really hard anaerobic type workouts? The tempo runs where you're at your anaerobic threshold. Anaerobic threshold is anywhere from like 165 beats a minute to about 173 to 174 beats a minute. It's the point usually when we're racing at either the half marathon distance, even the shorter distances, we're basically racing at our anaerobic threshold as it is. So you have to train adequately, efficiently, and often enough at that anaerobic threshold, and couple that with your aerobic capacity type workouts. Those 400 to 600 meter hill sprints, doing where you're going all out. You're all out on the going up, and you're either walking and jogging on the way down to recover. All those types of workouts recruit fast twitch muscle fibers. So you cannot get that physiological adaptation by running slow every single day. Now, that being said, you still have to run slow on those recovery days. You really have to have that discipline to, you have to have the same type of discipline that you have to get out and do the tempo runs, the track sessions, the long runs. You have to have that same mindset and that same discipline to on your easy days to really back off and take it easy, because that's where all the benefits of these hard workouts are going to come from when it comes to breaking a 2-hour half marathon. So obviously, I highly stress this: do not get caught up in volume. Okay, you're trying to break 2 hours for the half marathon. How to run a half marathon in under 2 hours requires sustained pace. It requires more than just endurance. You have to train to a point where you're increasing your stamina, where you're increasing your lactate tolerance, which is basically, how effective are you able to efficiently clear lactic acid from your system when you're running at high speeds. So those types of physiological adaptations don't occur. They don't come about by running easy. And I still stress the importance of backing off and running very, very slow on your recovery days, because some of these workouts are extremely taxing. You're highly fatigued after a hard workout like that. So going out the next day and running, maybe you feel great, but you're still running too fast. Your heart rate, a lot of athletes don't wear a heart rate monitor. Neither did I until 1996. So from 1996 up until now, I always use a heart rate monitor just in case if I feel great but I'm running too fast, that I know to back off and I know to slow down, because I know I put a 6 by 1 mile workout on the track, and say at 5-minute mile pace, and the following day if I still feel great and I'm out there running 5:45 to 6:30 mile pace, and maybe I really need to be running at 7-minute to 7:30 mile pace, then I know to back off. It's just kind of, you can't so much, you don't have to wear a heart rate monitor all the time. There's a lot of times that athletes, as long the more advanced you are, you know how your body feels. So a lot of times you can just go off a feel. If you can go out and you can jog and talk and not have any issue whatsoever, just chatting with somebody, a loved one or a friend, then you're going at a decent pace. You're going at a pace that you're going to recover from. You're not going too fast. Okay, so really keep those things in mind when you're focused on breaking a 2-hour half marathon. Definitely go to RunDreamAchieve.com as well, because I've written a lot of articles about specifically about athletes breaking the 2-hour half marathon, and that's really a goal of mine now, is to start working on a specific course to get athletes under 2 hours for this event. I know what it takes to get well under 2 hours, and I know whether you're and I know a lot of athletes out there. You might be one of them that are very, very close to breaking 2 hours. Maybe you're at 2:30, maybe you're at 2:20, maybe you're at 3 hours, and you would love to become a 1:59 half marathoner. So that's something I really want to start working on now. I hope this video has been helpful. What I'll do is, as well, is in the description, below the description in this video, I'll leave some links as well to some of the articles that I've written about breaking the 2-hour half marathon that I hope will be very helpful for you. And again, don't get caught up in volume. Higher mileage does not equate to better results. I've gotten up to 142 miles a week, and it left me fatigued, irritable, and frustrated. So higher mileage does not always work. You can experiment for yourself. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for some people to realize that, myself included. But I did learn my lesson, and I focused. I was trying to really drop significant time off my half marathon time and my marathon time, and I had to just slow down and focus on what were other athletes that were running the specific times I was wanting to run doing that I wasn't. And what they were doing is they had a higher focus on quality over quantity. So with that being said, I hope this video has been really helpful for you. Continue to check back. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe and click on the bell icon. That means every time I make a new video, you'll get a chance you'll get an update into your email stating that a new video was made. So I'm excited. I credit my wife. Thanks to her for getting me to finally get out of my shell and stop just writing posts and making videos. For a lot of years, I had some kind of phobia or something that just did not want to get in front of a camera. But the bottom line is, I want to help people, and you got to get out of your comfort zone sometime. So we all have things that make us feel uncomfortable, and it's really important, especially when you're, in this case, you're trying to break a 2-hour half marathon. You need to start doing things differently in training to get those types of results. And that's what I, as a coach and as a mentor, as a consultant, what I want to do with these videos and with the site as well, is to get people out of their comfort zone, get them thinking about some really what they think is impossible, get your mindset into thinking like that. I'm proof positive that if you put your mind to something, you will achieve it if you're tenacious and if you're consistent and persistent enough. I was a 5:19. I had a 5:09 mile personal best in high school as a freshman. Okay, that was 1992, and in 2007, I was able to hold 26 miles at 5:19 per mile pace. I've never had a lot of talent, but what I have been able to do is really focus on my work ethic, and I know you have that work ethic as well. You're not on this video. You're not coming to RunDreamAchieve.com or seeking out running advice because you're average. You're not average. You just gotta, start implementing the strategies that the best runners in the world utilize, and they focus heavily on leverage. They're not working so much harder as they are working smarter. You want to get better results by working less, but also still working hard, but obviously changing up the way you're putting in your mileage, and that's the key. If you're just running, if 90% of your weekly volume is spent, at 2 minutes, a minute to 2 minutes slower than your goal half marathon race pace, it's going to be very difficult for you to get under that 2-hour barrier. So my emphasis and my recommendations is to really focus on looking at what you're doing on a weekly basis in terms of your mileage, and spending a higher percentage of your weekly volume at close to or far below your goal half marathon race pace. Preferably, spend some time training at your 5K race pace and your 10K race pace. Anything you can do so that your half marathon race pace, which is 9 minutes and 9 seconds per mile, is going to feel more easy. It's going to feel more sustainable. You're not going to be so concerned and fatigued to be able to hold that pace. So if you're training, you have a lot of time where you're training, at 7-minute mile pace or 7:30 pace, 8-minute mile pace. In that range, you're spending time well below 9-minute, 9-second mile pace. Then you're going to eventually get under 2 hours for the half marathon. So I'll leave it at that tonight. Hope you have a great evening, and I'll talk to you next time. Like I said, if you have any specific questions, further questions that this video hasn't answered, definitely leave me a comment. I'll definitely make another video. I love hearing from my subscribers and people that visit the YouTube channel. Just your questions. That's the name of the game for me. If it's a pain point that somebody else has, I will definitely draw upon my expertise and experience and background to help you get your results. And I know it's difficult, but just stay consistent. Be patient with yourself. The patience is the key when it comes to running a time like this. How to run a half marathon under 2 hours. That takes some heavy work and specific training to achieve. And I know you can do it. So have a great evening. I'll talk to you next time.